Welcome back. It's time to talk money matters, and today's topic, unpleasant but very necessary. Losing your spouse is devastating emotionally and financially, and local financial professional John Vandergriff from Blue Ridge Wealth Planners is here to share some ways you can make sure your partner is taken care of should you pass away. Obviously, it's just like insurance, you got to think ahead. So why is it important, I guess, to include your spouse? Either way you want to look at this in your financial matters.
Yeah, I mean, if a spouse passes before the other, which is most likely what's going to happen, is it not the notebook, you're not holding hands, okay? So when you look at that, some things are going to change financially. So, you know, as we look at income, sometimes income sources drop off, your income lowers, you may need to replace that. I know taxes will change if you go from a married filing jointly to a single filer. And when you look at it statistically, women outlive men, you know, of equivalent ages. And so most of the time this needs to be a conversation that's had really regardless of who is the one who outlives the other, just of what changes are going to happen and then what things need to be made now to make those decisions a little better.
And sidebar here, because you've probably dealt with it, I know we did when my mother-in-law passed away. I mean, getting access to some of these things, and I mean, granted, that wasn't my spouse, but I mean, it's not easy if it's not set up.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's where I think the biggest thing that we've got to look at here is communication, you know, because normally in a relationship, you kind of delve out different jobs and responsibilities. And so sometimes if your spouse is handling one, you just totally don't want anything to do with it. But in the realm of finances, if that person goes missing, I mean, something as simple as account passwords and things, you won't be able to get into stuff or go through a lot more work to do that. So getting things organized and communicated very well, but also recognizing what things may change if a death occurs and what to do to plan for it now is important.
What are the financial steps needed to make sure that the surviving spouse is financially secure for the several years that they may live after you die?
Yeah, so one thing that is a good area to plan for is Social Security, because there is survivor benefits, but depending on if both spouses have filed versus if only one has, it will change and maybe add some complexity there. So, you know, strategizing that in the overall game plan and seeing what's going to happen if either spouse passes. Obviously, building an estate plan is super important, even if you do the baseline stuff with a will, powers of attorney for finance and healthcare and living will. That's a baseline that everybody should have. And if you think, well, I don't know if I need that, you need it. It's just, do you need any more than that is the key. But getting that done is super important. And then having conversations about, you know, if a spouse needs some type of care, how are we going to go about paying for that? Do we want to utilize long-term care? Do we have assets that we want to position a different way? But I think just having the discussions, and nobody likes talking about when somebody dies, but it's a lot less painful to talk about it now than whatever situation you leave behind. So trying to discuss that with someone. If you don't know who to talk to, we talk to people about this all the time.
And that's why he's here. If you don't know who to talk to, get a hold of John.
Yeah.